पर आपको याद होगा 2 महीने पहले मैं आपके पास नागपुर आया था. इट वॉज अ सेंसिटिव सब्जेक्ट. आपने करीब घंटा भर मुझे घर पे बिठाया. एंड ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ द डिस्कशन यू सेड टू मी, डोंट वरी, यू आर माई फ्रेंड. पता नहीं आपको याद होगा नहीं होगा. सो emboldened by your gesture of friendship, I want to welcome you little informally also on behalf of the entire हमारा Bajaj family, sir. Very warm welcome to हमारे नितिन जी. Thank you, sir. Along with sir, I am also delighted that there are some other very special people in the audience today. Starting with all my senior colleagues that I see in front of me, but this time many of them with their families, like my own extended family, some for as many as 34 years. That's how long I've been here now, since 1990. Amongst them are Rishabh and Deepa, probably the two most important people for me in this hall today. As Deepika mentioned, my national table tennis champion and Arjuna awardee, uncle and honorable chairman, Mr. Neeraj Bajaj, and our distinguished director, Anami Roy sir. But along with them are also some other friends that I would like to quickly introduce to all of you. My elder brother Tarang is here. And then with him are some people who've been very close to me, especially in the last 2.5 years, a little difficult period for me personally. Sharon and Komal, Arun and Ritu, Atul and Varsha, Doc Parvez and, as we call her, Her Majesty Jill, and Raja and Sheetal, and Dr. Lodha and Vishal, who is our distributor in Dubai, sells almost 1 million vehicles for us all over Africa. Vishal is also here, sitting right here in the second row. Guys, thank you for being so intelligent and so generous. Whenever I am challenged by issues concerning product and communication, these are the people that I reach out to. There is one more person I want to acknowledge, but I will come to that in the end. Friends, as I stand before you today for the launch of what we deem to be a game-changing product, the world's first CNG motorcycle, my mind actually goes back to what you saw on the screen a little while ago, to something that happened 25 years ago. 25 years ago, we launched India's first CNG three-wheeler, probably the world's first CNG three-wheeler. One morning, or rather one afternoon, as I was in office, I received some startling news. And the news was that in Delhi, a group of auto rickshaw drivers had just shattered the glass, the front glass of our dealership's showroom. Now, this was quite shocking for me to hear, because up until then, I had heard that the product was very well accepted. It had halved the running cost for the driver. They felt it was safe, it was reliable, and the price was also reasonable. I then learned what the reason for their ire was. They were upset because at that time, there was only one CNG fuel pump in all of Delhi. And the auto rickshaw driver had to stand in queue for 10 to 12 hours a day to fill CNG. That more than negated all the savings that accrued to him because of the CNG itself. Now, at first, obviously, I thought to myself, what does this have to do with me? This has to do with all these guys who didn't do their job and put up the fuel pumps that they were supposed to put up. But I learned one of my many lessons that I have learned at Bajaj Auto then, invaluable over time, and that is this, that the customer does not draw any boundary lines as far as your responsibility and accountability is concerned. The customer expects the manufacturer to ensure a holistic brand experience with the product. And especially if it is new technology like electric vehicles, or as we will see today, the world's first CNG motorcycle, then the customer is effectively telling us your job doesn't end with just sales and service of the product. You are responsible for the entire ecosystem, for the totality of my ownership experience. And I thought this was important to mention today, since we are all present here. We are venturing into this new uncharted waters, where it is not enough for us to just make a good product and deliver it, but everything else that goes with it, in terms of its safety, in terms of its convenience, in terms of even educating the customer how best to take advantage of the product. It is our responsibility to ensure that this happens. So I am very pleased that our esteemed guests from the oil marketing and distribution companies are also here. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. Thank you very much. And I would like to believe that I speak on behalf of Nitinji, of ourselves, on behalf of all of you, when I say to customers who may be listening in right now, that we all assure you, we are with you through the life cycle of this product, through all the use cases of this product, through all the allied considerations of this product. सर शायद इसको हमारा बजाज की गारंटी ऐसा कह सकते हैं. आप भी आपके भाषण में थोड़ा गडकरी के गारंटी का थोड़ा उल्लेख करना सर. Friends, I won't go into many more details of the product itself, because Deepika and Sarang and my colleagues, they can do a much better job of that, which they will do so shortly. But when I was thinking about the launch today, I have not kept count, but I was thinking to myself that after 34 years, maybe this is the 100th product launch of my career at Bajaj Auto. And there is one person that I have never ever missed on a product launch occasion, but I felt that today I feel the absence of this person. This is a person who, brick by brick, built this wonderful company that we are all part of, called Bajaj Auto. This is a person who, on his broad shoulders for 50 years, carried the entire Bajaj group, not just Bajaj Auto. This is a person, I think you will all agree, who pledged his razor mind, his iron will, his very large patriotic heart to the cause of building Indian industry. On the side, he also served as chairman of Indian Airlines in the 80s, if I remember right. He was also for a long time a member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha. And since he was my father, I saw him from very close quarters. And if I may say so, throughout his entire period of doing all of this, he is a person who slept very well at night, because he always said, I sleep on the pillow of courage and I sleep under the blanket of integrity. That is how I remember it. His unapologetic Bharat Bhakti, and I would like to remember that today when we are launching the world's first something. His unapologetic Bharat Bhakti, via the so-called, at that time some of you may have heard, Bombay Club, which was much derided in the 80s and the 90s. Today, sir, it finds expression. It finds voice through expressions such as Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Vocal for Local. So that makes me feel that perhaps being misunderstood is the cross that the forthright must sometimes bear for being ahead of time. He was a man who was ahead of time. Nitinji, my father, I know he and you were friends for a long, long time. अभी भी आपने एक किस्सा बताया डावोस में आपके बारे में, उनके बारे में. You have known each other for decades, perhaps. And if I may say so, yours is a friendship that goes back to a time when freedom was the underlying value of all business political friendships. Freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of action, the freedom to have your own conviction, the freedom to determine your own destiny, the freedom to decide your own process, the freedom to agree to disagree as we do, sir, sometimes, and the freedom from all kinds of fear. And that is why this freedom is the theme of our launch today. It is in the spirit of freedom for every Indian from some of the troubles that he faces in his everyday life that we have invited you today, sir. We want you to witness today our interpretation of the avatar of freedom. And I am sure you will like it, sir, because it offers freedom from petrol imports, freedom from petrol emissions, freedom from petrol prices, freedom from range anxiety and charging concerns, because it's not only the world's first CNG motorcycle, it's the world's first hybrid CNG motorcycle technology. It offers you freedom from cramped seats. You will all see perhaps today the longest motorcycle seat in the world. Sir, I know we cannot legally say that 4 people should sit on a two-wheeler. So I have said what I wanted to say. But sir, at the same time, all of us who are in the car, when we look at how precariously little babies are cradled between parents or in the mother's lap, your heart is really in your mouth. So I don't want to make any illegal statements, but I don't think any baby will have to sit in the mother's lap anymore after this motorcycle is launched. Freedom from uncomfortable rides. I'm sure Sarang will elaborate today on a very unique monolink suspension, a first in class that we have developed for this. And I hope that all of you will agree with me when you see the motorcycle in a few minutes, that it is also freedom from all the boring designs in which commuter motorcycles are still stuck after 40 years of the 1980s. So hopefully you will see a motorcycle that will be like a breath of fresh air, not only for its engine, but also for the way it appears. And finally, sir, since you are here, if I may say so, also, and this is a pet subject of mine, freedom from the paradoxically unsustainable subsidies that government sometimes employs to promote sustainable technologies. How sustainable technology can be promoted by unsustainable subsidies, not only in India, the world over. Our friends from the media, I am sure they are aware of the chaos which is there across the world as far as subsidies for electric vehicles, etc. are concerned. So freedom from all of this. Friends, my father was a staunch believer that the same deep differentiation that brought us our success with sports motorcycles, with three-wheelers, with the Chetak more recently, and with our export markets. It is the same strategy of differentiation that one day will bear the fruit of success in the commuter motorcycle market as well. And I would like to say that perhaps today can be that day. It can be that day if all of us the government, the associated organizations, and the OEMs. If we are all to align our collective forces to make this happen, then sir, जो आप मेरे को बार बार दिल्ली में बताते हो कि मेरे को पेट्रोल डीजल खत्म करना है, खत्म करना है, खत्म करना है, और आप सायब में आके हम सबको इतना मतलब धोस देते हो कि मैं बैंड बाजा लेकर के तुम लोग को यहाँ से भगा के लेके जाऊंगा. आपने ऐसा कहा है सर, so I am not misquoting you at all. But more seriously, I think all of us, if we come together, then we can have India lead the way and show the way to the world how we can move away from petrol and diesel towards clean fuels like CNG and electric vehicles. I don't know who said this, but someone said, we don't inherit the world from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. And so, if nothing else, this motorcycle is about freedom for every child to be able to exercise his and her fundamental right to clean air. It is our responsibility to do our best in that direction. And if we come together to do that, friends, then I think what we are calling as a game-changing day for us can perhaps become a life-changing day for the generations which are to come. All that it requires is a change in mindset. Because the greatest discovery of our generation, as William James said, is that a human being can alter his life if he alters his attitude of mind. Hence, friends, to end, I go back to the one person I referred to in the beginning. I said I would return to him in the end. I would like to invoke the memory of my very handsome friend. He is Padma Shri Uncle Neil Nonkinri. Very complicated name. I have mugged it up 100 times before coming here. Uncle Neil Nonkinri. Tragically, suddenly, prematurely, Uncle Neil passed away 2 years back. But I feel he is here, joining us from the heavens through the lovely boys and girls of the Shillong Chamber Choir. We have invited the mesmerizing Shillong Chamber Choir to light up this hall with the essence of the message with which we believe the Bajaj freedom will ride out into the market tomorrow. And the message is simply this: छोड़ो कल की बातें, छोड़ो कल की बातें, कल की बात पुरानी, नए दौर में लिखेंगे मिलकर नहीं कहानी. What comes after this? Somebody said, हम हिंदुस्तानी, हम हिंदुस्तानी. So, friends, on that note, soon you will witness a grand show thanks to this riveting, ravishing team from one of the most beautiful parts of the country. And hopefully, after that, you will see a motorcycle that you will be proud of as an Indian who wants India to go forward in the world of clean air and clean energy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.